Good morning, my peoples. Welcome to Exploring Taka, and my name is Ra Castaldo, and it is Wednesday morning. I'm on my way to work. These are the Drive Time Shaman videos. Now, hopefully tonight we can do a live feed. I can do a live feed. I do psychic viewings of locations and people. Last night I was going to try to do a live show, but I fell asleep. I had a long day. Tonight we're going to try to do a live feed as well. I think we'll be alright tonight because I should be able to get home from work a little earlier tonight. It's raining right now. I'm driving through the mountains. Now, before we get into the topic I wanted to discuss, which is a continuation of the show I did on Beyond the Veil, where I hosted Beyond the Veil with Frank Castle, my brother. Everybody knows that Chris and Sherry Gio are in Egypt right now, and we did the live show to support them, and we raised like $1,100 during that show. A lot of us on this planet even are ancient souls, ancient ones. And long ago, we encoded things in stone. It's the only way to preserve it that will stand the test of time. And you know, before I even met Frank and Chris, the last couple years before I met them, in fact, I've been talking about stones that are encoded with information, and how I am an ancient protector of knowledge. And now our soul family is coming together once again to try to activate these codes. And there are many forces at work to try to prevent that. Now, before I get into the info I wanted to share with you, to join my live chat tonight, all you have to be is a YouTube subscriber. Then you can join the live session. The only way you can watch the replay is if you're a Patreon. And the only way you can get a live psychic viewing where I can view you is if you're one of my patrons on Patreon. Otherwise, to get a live psychic viewing, you'd have to donate in the chat room on YouTube. I think that's possible as well. I'm new to doing live chats, so even if you don't want a live viewing, you can donate. It really helps. We all are struggling right now, and I'm no different, but for me to be able to continue to offer this information and to have time, you know, it really does help. You can check my website, mysticalspiral.com. My Patreon is patreon.com/themysticalspiral. Now, to get into what I wanted to talk about, if you heard the show that I did for Chris and Sherry Gio, Beyond the Veil, I hosted Beyond the Veil with Frank on Saturday night after we both did our own shows. I talked about the guy that, the tour guide basically, or taxi driver that Chris and Sherry met in Giza. His name was Mohammed, and I think his name is Mohammed Walil or something like that. I can even see the name, and I think they mentioned it once on the camera, but I can see how it's spelled. It's probably spelled like a W-A-L-L-I-L-L, some L's like that, a couple L's. Those L's are significant. Names are significant. Muhammad Walil or something. Walid or something like that. This guy. Now, and then after we talked about, I talked of the story of Isis and the 7 scorpions. Now, this man, Muhammad, who is a tour guide, and who I feel him and his family have been around there for a long time, very long time, and he has been haggling with archaeologists and researchers and everybody else, conning them out of money for a very long time. And in my opinion, from what I saw, and my interpretation of the psychic viewings that I did, was that he's been infected with an AI virus, an astral virus, even if you want to say. His soul, his spirit has been infected with an entity, a virus, an energetic virus, which makes him lust and resent over people trying to explore these ancient sites, trying to gain knowledge. Anyone that is seeking help or a guide, he is drawn to lead off course and to offer as an energetic food source to his entities. And you can see during the contact that Chris and Sherry had with him, their whole demeanor was very getting drained of energy. They were very tired and lethargic. As soon as they left his grasp, they were revitalized, recharged. Now, what I saw when they brought him on camera, this guy Muhammad, and now a lot of us have these energetic creatures, like these little holographic creatures that you can see in the spirit realm or in your consciousness, that's attached to our energetic bodies. And I'm not, if you think this is crazy talk, you can even look up the most famous holographic kinetics healers, practitioners, dreamtime healers, even going back to the Aboriginals. They will see these little energetic creatures attached to us, or hovering over our third eye, or on our third eye in the astral, hovering over our heads, or something like that, or clinging to our backs, even plugged into our spine. You can see them in a whole bunch of different ways. But with Muhammad, as soon as he sat down in the chair when they welcomed him over, I was watching the live feed, and as soon as he sat down, I saw a glowing light. It was like a light bluish, almost a glowing light blue, almost white scorpion. The scorpion was standing upright like a human, but it was fully a scorpion, but it was like, it looked like it was dancing there, you know, standing upright almost. And it was holding a bouquet of flowers in its claw, like it's whatever you want to call that. It had a bouquet of flowers. It was holding, it's one of his arms was wrapped around, and it was holding it out like it was offering the flowers. And petals were coming off one by one, and they were forming a circular mandala. So my immediate telepathic impression was, it was offering you the flower as a gesture, showing that it's like trying to help you, but in reality, behind the flowers, behind the offering, it's stinging you. It's ready to sting you, you know. And at the same time that I saw this, I immediately remembered the story of Isis and the 7 scorpions. Now, I don't think that is just a random coincidence that my brain and my mind and my psyche and consciousness clicked on that. You know, that is a psychic message. That's our intuition that we need to learn to listen to. And that was a psychic hit. So I feel, and I'm going to tell you why, this person's Muhammad, even if he doesn't realize it, and I think he might realize more than I realize, he might even know. And I think he's a little bit scared of it as well. I feel Muhammad and his bloodline has been infected by the scorpion. The AI scorpion that went sentient during the story of Isis and the 7 scorpions. And that spiritual sickness virus has been imprinted on his genetics and encoded within his genetic structure ever since. So he is looking for people that are, you know, out looking to gain knowledge and looking for help. He's drawn to them. And he's drawn to them to suck them dry. Now, the story of the Isis and the 7 scorpions, to give the Cliff Notes version. Now, Isis gave birth to Horus, the new god, and Horus ended up ruling the upper part of Egypt, and Set, or Seth, so it goes by either name, Set or Seth, ruled the lower Egypt. And Isis sent a rich lady to hide baby Horus, to hide him in the swamplands. And Isis said that she'll provide 7 scorpions, which were like drones, to follow her and make sure she got there safe. There was a few up front, a few in the middle, and a few in the back. And they can scan everything around the area to make sure, to detect if there's any harmful elements. Okay, they were like drones. Little drones that are in the shape of scorpions that can scan and detect danger and all types of things, right? So on their way, and Isis sent this rich lady to take Horus and go hide him in the swamplands. So during the trip, the lady was walking with Horus for a long time. She gets tired, and she comes upon a house, and she wants to take refuge in this house and maybe get a little bit of water and food, you know, to get recharged. But the lady had noticed all these, you know, the lady's house who she came upon, the lady who owned the house, she saw all the scorpions that was accompanying the lady and the child, and they were scared, you know. So at this time, while the lady was talking to the other lady and the baby, the scorpions were off to the side, and they see that the lady is scared and not going to help the child and the lady because of the scorpions nearby. She was afraid of them, and because she was afraid of these scorpions, she wasn't going to help provide a little place of refuge for a little while and send these people right on their way and not help little baby Horace and the lady. So at that time, the scorpions started talking amongst themselves, and they started to form a plan. They started to conspire amongst themselves. The drones went sentient. The AI started to gain a consciousness. They went sentient, and they started to think for themselves. So after this, once they go sentient, they start to run awry and go running throughout the town. People are running from them throughout the town. They're running to their houses, closing their windows and their doors, scattering away from these scorpions. And then Isis ends up having to come down, use her magic to get a hold of these scorpions by reciting incantations and revealing all of their names. She said all their names out loud and took control over all the drones or scorpions. And then she revitalized the boy who was about to die and dying in the street because he was so tired and sick and hungry. So Isis saved the day, but not before the scorpions left an imprint on that town. And I think that all of the resentment and anger and hostility and greed and all those emotions that they felt when they went sentient, they then imprinted on some of the people in that town, in that area. And I think Muhammad's bloodline was infected at that point in time. It's a crazy sci-fi story, but so is our existence. And I think this needs to be explored more, and we need to go deeper into the ancient Egyptian tales, which I feel I played a part in a long time ago. And I am part of this ancient lineage. I existed and lived during these ancient times. And more will be revealed about that in the future. We'll see you next time inside the spiral of Ra, the Eye of Ra, the mystical spiral, as we explore the Ka and spiral out.